Have you ever heard the saying, this place is like Fort Knox because it's so well protected? Well, the places we are going to be talking about today are just like that. You are restricted, even banned from entering these places, and don't even try to break the rules. First up, we have the Vatican Secret Archives. The Vatican Secret Archives serves as a storage space for numerous documents relating to the Catholic Church. The Pope, as the sovereign of Vatican City, owns the material held in the archive until his death or resignation, with ownership passing on to his successor. Now, the archive contains state papers, correspondence, account books, and many other documents that the church has accumulated over the centuries. Now, some of these documents date as far back as the 8th century. Now, there are said to be papal accounts of a letter from Michelangelo to Pope Julius II, a letter from Mary Queen of Scots written before her execution, and Martin Luther's excommunication document. Now, most of the archive is located underground, and it has 53 miles of shelves with 35,000 volumes in the selective catalog alone. Now, it's forbidden to enter it for anyone except for researchers with special permits to access. But even for them, there are multiple limitations to what documents they can view. Not to mention, only paper, pencil, and computer laptops are permitted. No ink, pens, or any digital camera photography are allowed inside. Only 5 requested articles can be taken out at a time, and only 60 academics per day are allowed inside. So even if you can visit, there's a lot of restrictive rules you would have to follow. Next up is the Bhangarh Fort, India. Okay, so this point is a little bit of a cheat because the Bhangarh Fort isn't completely banned to access because tourists can visit it in the daylight, but from sunset to sunrise, there is a strict ban on entering this place. Generally regarded as the most haunted place in India, this 16th century fort is full of legends about ghosts and curses. Some visitors pointed out that they get a weird sense of paranoia as if someone is following them around, and that's why many guests don't stay long in the area. Now, as per the legends, Bhangarh Fort has been cursed by a hermit named Guru Balunath. Now, the spot where the fort had been built once served as the meditation spot of the sage, and when the king pleaded with him that he wanted to build a fort there, the sage agreed on one condition: that the fort's shadow should not touch him. Now, the king agreed but did not follow through, and the curse of the hermit followed, which led to the entire village being destroyed. You might be wondering who happens to those who dare visit the Bhangarh Fort at night, but no one knows, because according to locals, whoever tries to break the rule mysteriously disappeared after it, as it is believed that spirits roam there at night. Yeah, with the way this is described, I don't think I'd ever want to go there during the day. Now we have Heard Island, Australia. One of the most remote territories in the world, Heard Island is considered an Australian territory, even though it's located between Madagascar and Antarctica. It's home to a wide range of animals such as seals, penguins, and marine birds, as well as more than 40 glaciers. At one point it was open for visitors, but they ended up closing it public. There were a couple reasons for this, as in the year 2000, researchers noticed a huge lava flow coming from the island's massive volcano called Mawson. Second, Heard Island is known for its poor weather conditions, and third, it's too remote to be safe. It's located in a minimum 2-week sail to the closest major landmass, so I think it's a good idea that they close this down. Moving on to Pravcicka, Brana, Czech Republic. Europe's largest natural sandstone arc, Pravcicka Brana, is one of the most well-known attractions in the Czech Republic. The span of the arc at the bottom is 87 feet and the opening is 52.5 feet high. The width ranges from approximately 23 to 26 feet, and in the narrowest, the arch is about 9.8 feet thick. Its frequent attendance used to cause increased erosion of the upper parts and destruction of the gate. Therefore, access of the public to the gate has been forbidden since 1902. Now, the purpose of the protection is preserving the current state. The more visitors that come to the area, the more likely it is to collapse one day. So to reduce erosion, tourists can now see it from afar but not climb onto it. Now, unfortunately, the erosion process continues even without the help of visitors, and according to geologists, the arch can still collapse in the future, but at least the ban slows down the process and gives us more time to admire it. Let's discuss the Mausoleum of King Huang, China. Founder of China's Qin Dynasty, Emperor King Huang, who reigned between 221 BCE and 210 BCE, was the first emperor of a unified China. He created the Great Wall of China as well as laying down a vast national road system. It was King Huang who built a huge stone army known as the Terracotta Army, which consists of some 8,000 life-size statues of soldiers as well as numerous horses and chariots. chariots. Surrounding this place, the terracotta army was likely built in order to protect the emperor in the afterlife. Now, although the tomb of the emperor was discovered upon unearthing the terracotta army in 1974, it hasn't been excavated yet. According to the opponents of the excavation of the tomb, modern technologies can't prevent its destruction. For this reason, access to it is still forbidden by the Chinese government. All we know about it now is that it consists of a complex network of caverns underground, filled with objects that, according to those who buried him, the emperor could have needed in the afterlife. Now, I gotta agree with this one. I think we should leave him alone. Now we have Mezhgorye, Russia. Being the largest country in the world, Russia is certainly full of surprises. Now, it has a lot of mysterious sites, towns, and other special places, like for example, Mezhgorye. It's a closed town hidden somewhere in the southern Ural Mountain. Now, to keep off anyone who wants to enter the town or even come close to it, it's encircled by 2 battalions. Now, what's so important about this area? Well, it's not 100% clear what this area is and why it's surrounded by this receipt. The Russian government has been evasive when asked questions about Mezhgorye, and the Russian government claimed Mezhgorye was bunker for high-level officials, a food cache, and a mining operation. So, which is it? We don't know, but according to the most believable reports, it's a nuclear missile site that allegedly has automatic missiles that can be controlled remotely. Now, some people think this place is Russia's Area 51, but regardless, it seems like we might never know what's so special about this place. Grand Shrine of Isle, Japan is next on our list. Japan is a land of shrine culture and is home to approximately 1,000 shrines. But did you know that the Isle Grand Shrine is one of the most important as well as the most expensive of all the shrines in Japan? The Grand Shrine Isle in Japan is a very important place for the Shinto religion because it was built to honor Amaterasu, a goddess of the sun and the universe. Now, interestingly, this temple is rebuilt every 20 years according to the Shinto idea of death and birth. Every time they reconstruct the shrine, they keep on using a wood joining technique and never utilize nails, which is pretty cool. Now, to keep the place holy, only priests and members of the imperial family of Japan can go there. Everyone else can gaze at the temple from the outside through wooden fences. Now on to Surtsey, Iceland. Surtsey, one of the youngest islands in the world, appeared due to a volcanic eruption that lasted from 1963 to 1907. These days though, it's only used for scientific purposes. Visitors, except for research groups, are forbidden to visit this island because scientists want to understand how ecosystems form without any human influence. Now, free from human interference, Surtsey has been producing unique long-term information on the colonization process of new land by plant and animal life. Since they began studying the island in 1964, scientists have observed the arrival of seeds carried by ocean currents, the appearance of molds, bacteria, and fungi, followed in 1965 by the first vascular plant, of which there were 10 species by the end of the first decade. By 2004, they numbered 60 together with 75 bryophytes, 71 lichens, and 24 fungi. 89 species of birds have been recorded on Surtsey, 57 of which breed elsewhere in Iceland. Now, I understand why they wouldn't want everyday humans to come to this place as they could ruin it, and they've never had an opportunity to study an island like before. Up next is Metro 2, Moscow. Metro 2 is the name given to a secret underground rail network built by Stalin in the 1930s to allow the Soviet police to move around the city rapidly without detection. It originally linked Stalin's dacha, suburban residence, the Ministry of Defense, command bunkers, and other military facilities. Larger and more extensive than the official metro system, it is unknown whether construction stopped after Stalin's death or if his successors continue to end it. Now, the system was also meant to serve as a protection against a nuclear attack, with a supposed giant bunker built that was able to house up to 300,000 people, along with an alternate command post for the Soviet High Command. There are even rumors that the network extends for miles outside Moscow, allowing Soviet leaders to flee in case the capital was hit by a nuclear attack. There are also rumors that the tunnels were used by the military to transport supplies, materials, and personnel between bunkers without exposure. Now, a tunnel leading into the Metro 2 system was discovered after the 1960s era Rosia Hotel near the Kremlin was demolished. The tunnel was referred to as D6, which is apparently KGB code for Metro 2. It is supposedly still operated by the Russian Ministry of Defense, but the Metro administration, however, denies existence. And lastly, we have Runit Island, Marshall Island. Between 1946 and 1958, the United States carried out 67 nuclear tests in the Pacific Ocean. The explosions were described as for the good of mankind and to all wars. 2/3 of the tests happened at Eniwetok Atoll, and they left behind a place seriously contaminated with radioactive material. Efforts to clean up the mess ran from 1977 to 1980, debris, and there was military debris, shattered concrete, and soil tainted with elements such as plutonium, cesium, and strontium. All this toxic waste, 85,000 cubic meters of it, was scooped up and taken to a tiny patch of land called Runit Island, a place that was so badly contaminated that scientists said it could never be cleaned up. On Runit, there was already a huge void left behind by one of the blasts called the Cactus Crater. Now, it was lined with concrete and the crud was dumped in. Then they sealed off the dump with a big concrete dome. But to save costs, the bottom of the crater was not lined, so radioactive contamination has leaked into seawater, and there are serious concerns about how permanent the contaminant structure really is. Needless to say, the only people who visit Runit Island are government scientists protected by hazmat kits. Now, how they could get away with this? Absolutely horrible. Well, that's all for our list of the top 10 banned places more restricted than Fort Knox. If you could visit any of these places, where would you choose? Let us know in the comments down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. I'm your host Emily, and we'll see you next time. Peace.